check. Ooh, yeah. Because that is what I want a horn to sound like when somebody cuts me off in traffic. Or you know when like the light turns green and they're just sitting there texting on your phone and you're like, it's green, go! That's what that horn sounds like. Anyway, hi, enough of my road rage. Welcome to Bish's RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd, and it's been like 3 or 4 years since I got you some updated footage on this 29MV Greyhawk. So let's see what she's all about here, and maybe it's the first time you've seen it. I don't know your life. So starting from the top down, it does something that you normally traditionally historically associate with the Class A RV market, and it has a fiberglass capped laminated roof structure, very similar to like a diesel pusher. Far less maintenance, although you do still have seals up there, so don't let anyone ever tell you it's a no maintenance roof. Get away from snake oil salespeople like that. The one that we're looking at today is outfitted with the optional second air conditioner, which has a power management system, which is cool, still has onboard generator. Also up top on the roof, they now have 200 watts of standard factory solar, which is cool, and a 30 amp dual charge controller. What I mean by that, it's a 30 amp charge controller that will shunt power both primarily to the house batteries, where you're going to use the most of your 12 volt, but it also gives a trickle charge line to the chassis battery. So if the RV's been in storage a while and you go turn the key, the battery's not dead, and you're always tending your batteries that way, so that you're not ruining good batteries otherwise, which can be a huge expense if you make a habit out of doing that. 7,500 pound tow rating. This is on the Ford E450 chassis with their new V7 or V7. Oh man, Ford people's head just exploded with their new Godzilla V8. We are carpetless, we're ventless flooring, we're easy cleaning. 7-foot ceiling, like a lot of motorhomes have that, but that farmhouse interior, and a bunch of other really good qualities. This is that like core floor plan that almost every motorhome builder makes. So to me, this is like the perfect place to, if you're trying to compare different brands to see which one you want to give your money to, this is really a good floor plan for doing that. But it's not perfect. It's got a couple things. We're going to point out good with bad as we go. And if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. Let's get in there. So, like I said, this is a fairly common layout, and I think the layout is straightforward and really speaks for itself. What I want to do is really kind of speak more on some of the features and options that you can get here. So normally by default, this would be a single central air unit, although currently it's not really centralizing the air. That's called a cold air dump right there. If you have those fins open, you're not really pumping air through the central system. You're only really dumping it locally. Now, I'm moonwalking like Michael Jackson back here into the bedroom for a reason, to showcase the fact that this one is outfitted with the optional second air conditioner. But the thing is, this is a 30 amp unit. Usually, without special hardware, you can't run 2 air conditioners on a 30 amp service. And this has a power management system. So basically what it's going to do is, if you would overload anything by like, you know, let's say you got your air conditioners running and then you kick on the microwave. What it will do is it will drop down like the bedroom air compressor. It'll keep the fan rolling, so you'll never really notice a break in service. And for the 1 or 2 minutes you're heating up your Campbell's soup or whatever, I don't know, it will you know, only have fan running back there. But as soon as that microwave's done, it'll kick the compressor back on, and you can enjoy your cold air. And like I said, you're frankly probably never going to see or feel or experience any kind of break in service. Now, all of our cabinetry is pocket screwed, and I want to point that out because there are some very entry-level models out there. I think when people hear entry-level, they often think travel trailers, but there's entry-level motorhomes too that are using stapled cabinet fasteners. And the idea just being that, in theory, a stapled fastener should be okay, but a screwed fastener is really hard to like split and break a cabinet. Now, there is a full big viewing window in the entry door, roughly on the right side of the screen right now, but as you can see, it does have a drop-down privacy shade on it. You do need to fully open the door, go outside, close the screen door to adjust that, but at least you can have some privacy if you are so inclined. Now, one of the things I really like and really respect about Jayco, especially in their motorized segment, is how safety-minded they are. So first of all, You've got actual car seat anchors here on the forward-facing dinette seats, and start counting the seat belts. Right there, we've got 1, 2, and now 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and then 7 and 8 in the front cockpit area. This thing can seat belt 8 people. I'm not sure with the seating and the forward cab bed, you even have sleeping for 8 people in here. So I like that they, in a sense, kind of overdo it so that, you know, if you don't want to have to sit in the one spot all the time, you can move around a little bit if you want to. Now, they use a power entry step that we're going to just kind of peek at on the outside. But by doing that, they could shorten their step well. Instead of needing to have 3 steps into the RV, they could just have 2. So what that means is, like, if you're just walking past the kitchen, it's there's not like an ankle breaker death trap waiting for you to like fall down in there. Now, could you slip backwards and step into that step well and hurt yourself? Yes, I've done it, but you really got to not be paying attention. Which, you know, I guess that's always kind of the way of things, but it probably wouldn't be too awful hard to get some kind of like board that you could cover that up with, you know, at destination mode. Now, as you can see, the seats in this can spin around, which the last time I recorded footage on this model, they did not. And the TV, just in case you are curious, it does pivot around. I don't know if I've done a good job of really displaying that quite yet, but just in case you're curious, that's where it could go. Now, I have a question for you. Some people really like the TV up there. Some people really don't like the TV up there. If you don't like the TV up there, that's fine. But leave me a comment and tell me where they should have done it. And because really, the only other idea I have that would make any sense is like by getting rid of a huge chunk of overhead kitchen cabinets. And this RV doesn't have bad kitchen storage, but if you took that out, you would greatly, I think, cripple the kitchen storage in this one, although you do always have a pantry by the refrigerator. But I don't know. I'm always open to input. Well, give us some feedback that we can send back to the manufacturer. Now, up front here, these did not used to have that front window, actually, truly speaking, second windshield up front. What is nice, though, if it's a hot sunny day like this, or if you're trying to sleep and you don't want to, you know, be stared at by the neighbors who are across from the campsite from you or whatever, you could always close that sucker down, just kind of whatever works for you there. You know, as long as we're standing here staring at the front end of this, let's dive into some deeper details. One of the other cool things about that forward bed, it has a best-in-class 750-pound rating. Newmar is a big diesel pusher brand that I personally respect a lot, but the fact is, they sometimes only have a 250-pound rating on their forward beds. This is 750 pounds. I don't know of anyone else that exceeds that out there in the industry. Now, as you're seeing there, by default here, we've got that hide-a-bed. I think you could outfit this one with a theater seat. Although not directly facing the entertainment center, I'd be kind of curious, you know, what do you think is the right couch on this one? Now, that is also an easy up-down dream dinette. These are sealed edge countertops, and did you notice a stove side back and side splash? Stove side back splash? I'm an idiot, but stove back and side splash is what I'm trying to say. The fact that somebody at Jayco actually acknowledges and understands the fact that bacon grease will bounce sideways. It seems like most of the RV industry is not readily aware of that fact, so credit to Jayco there. By the way, giving you a more enjoyable experience on the road, you've got a soft touch ceiling liner. That'll also, it will drown out so much noise in this RV when you're going down the road and there's all kinds of intense wind buffeting. And if you're at a campsite and Uncle Gary is in the campsite next to you and he's got his Freedom Rock cranked up to 11, well, it's also a nice way to drown out Uncle Gary. Now, over here is where we have a lot of our controls. And a lot of these are things that you might want to use or check outside. So they put them on the bottom of the cabinet. So if you just want to peek your head in the door, check what's going on with your solar charge controller. That is an MPPT charge controller, not a PWM, by the way. If you want to, you know, activate your auto leveling controls or your battery disconnector, open or close your awning, like things that you're going to do from the outside, you can do from the outside without having to trek up and down in the RV. Now, looking under this overhead cabinet, a couple things. Jayco's really good about putting switches for overhead lights all over the place. And there's also a set of household outlets under that over by the microwave. Whereas over here, you may notice we have the pop-up power tower. Now with standard United States Bs and a USB Type-C, and if you flip that down, you got yourself just a handy little wireless charge pad right there, which I think is very cool. Now over here, that is an 8 cubic foot gas electric refrigerator. And I've asked the question, would you like at least the option of a 12 volt fridge in the past? And there was, it's never a 100% yes, that's what I want, but it was a very, very high mark. And folks, I think you might have got your way. There is rumor that Jayco may be, I don't know, adopting standard or offering an optional swaptional 12 volt DC compressor fridge for this RV in the future, which I would personally like because it gives us 2 cubic foot more cold storage space. So it's 33% bigger, and it will still let us maintain that big pantry over there on the side. Now, I've got a terrible habit in the history of my videos of forgetting to put the bathroom on camera. So before I forget and say, I'll come back and then not do it, let's do it right now. And we flipped around the other direction here. Notice that magnet up there. That will do a really good job of holding that door in place, which is really handy. You can basically, you could use just the toilet space over here without cutting the RV off. But if you want to shower, since it's a clear glass door, you probably want some privacy. You probably want to close that door right there. Now, looking at space around the toilet, it's a little tight on the right side. If you're a bigger person, that might be a problem. But overall, I didn't think it was too awful bad. And I do like the double drawer and cabinet storage I have going on down here below the sink. And I really like that they didn't try to do something like get cute and be like, oh, look at us, we're fancy dancy and we have a double sink. That is, I see brands do that thinking that they're cool. And it's such a wasted, stupid space because you can't use 2 sinks at one time in a bathroom this size. And it really eats into the potential storage space. Now, we don't have that problem. Now we have good counter space to set down your blow dryers and toothbrush and every other thing. Charge up your electric shavers, and we still have some drawers for you and me. And pardon my footprints on the other side here. Since we do have a walk-through bathroom, which is a very, very space effective. It keeps the RV shorter than maybe it otherwise would be. Very, very effective use of space here. The headroom in this, because the floor to ceiling 7 foot, means when I'm standing there, I have some great room. Although you might have noticed the little towel hanging drying bar in there. Bumped it with my head. I didn't get that out of the way. And this, by the way, is height adjustable shower hardware. So I am a chunk taller than my wife. She is more gravity friendly than I. And it's nice for us to be, I like to shower head up high. She does not. So, that works. Now, this guy's over here trying to pick a fight, looking like he's had one too many. So we're going to leave him here to kind of simmer down, octopus. But moving on from here, back in the rear bedroom, we already kind of saw the air conditioner earlier, but just to, use that to give you a bit of a reference point right here. The lights above the bed are like a multi-element where if you tap them, you can get a blue element. If you hold it, you can get white. For spotlighting or something like that. Now the bed size in here is something that might be a little bit of a point of concern for some people. It is very prototypical for a lot of motorhomes, but actually, hold on. I'm operating off old information. That doesn't look short. Yeah, sorry about that. What I was thinking was correct. This is a 60 by 74 short queen. That is very normal in the world of motorhomes. It's funny because if you do that in a travel trailer, people scream bloody murder, but it's short beds are so normal in the RV industry. What is kind of cool about this one, and I will close the slide up to show you later in road mode, you can still use this bed in transit, although it will be even shorter in road mode. So you're going to want to kind of keep that logged in the memory banks. Sorry about that. I was staring at this thing in the viewfinder. I'm like, that looks bigger, but it's not, so never mind. Now, just like you saw in the living room, these do have blackout roller shades back here in the bedroom, which is very, very nice. And there's some deep cabinets. Actually, this bedroom has some really sweet storage. Starting looking up there, deep overhead cabinets. And then you've got the Silence of the Lambs pit down there under the bed. I might expand on that concept in a little bit here. But across from the bed, the entire wall is just insane amounts of storage. In the past, I remember this actually coming with a TV above those central dresser drawers, and the TV would flip up and be storage. You can still put a TV there, but there's no longer, it seems, a standard TV. And I'd be kind of curious. Do you prefer just the more dedicated storage, or did you like the idea of a TV in the bedroom of this one? The way this one's arranged, I personally kind of would have preferred a TV, but I can always just put one back in. It's not like they said, no TV for you, like the Seinfeld soup Nazi or something like that. Maybe it's me, but when I look at this, like, scary pit under the bed, all I can ever think is, like, it puts the lotion on its skin. And now with the slide closed in road mode, starting back here, this is what I was saying. The bed gets a little bit shorter in transit. It actually just slots under the bedspread's all puffed up, so you're not getting the full visual, but it slots kind of under that cabinet a little bit. So if you're long-legged like me, you're gonna want to make sure you don't accidentally put your foot through the, like, one of those mirrors over there. And doing another Michael Jackson moonwalk, sliding our way back here, checking on Annie, seeing if she's okay. You see that this one has just an easy wide open walkway. And just to help you kind of complete the visual right here, you know, from the bedroom looking forward, what's nice about this one, if you need to, you would be able to, like, stop and make a travel overnight stay without ever really opening the slides. But obviously going down the road, that's one of the major differences between a motorized vacation and a towable RV vacation. And what I mean is this: when a towable RV isn't intended to be used and occupied in transit on the inside, motorhomes are. So whereas with towable RVs, no one can ever really recommend that, or say, yeah, no, you can sit in the slide, you know, when it's retracted. Nobody tests for that, so they're not guaranteed. They use different slide systems in motorhomes. So, like right here where I'm sitting, that's why there's seat belts here, so that you can use this. And with a motorhome, the moment you turn your key, it's a road trip, baby. We're on vacation. But with a towable RV, your trip doesn't really start until after you hitch up, after you tow there, after you get there, after you unhook, after you level and open your slides. Now we're finally camping. Motorized, you get more time doing the fun part, really. All right, taking another look at our weights and our measures over here. The overall size of this, I think it's a really good, comfortable kind of middle ground. It's not the smallest rig, but it's also not so large that I feel super intimidated driving it down the road. And I tell you, you know, if I haven't driven or towed anything in a while, my first few minutes behind the wheel, I'm a little bit white-knuckly, but then, I don't know, it just starts to, you sort of settle in, you find your groove, and everything sort of works out okay, you know. Now, your Jaycos really pride themselves on the idea of making your experience of getting to your campsite as enjoyable as being at your campsite, and they call that J-Ride. And now your Greyhawks have J-Ride Plus because they're, you know, doing J-Ride plus more. You know, it kind of makes sense. But one of the things that they have up front here are these extra Coney shocks. They also have, they replace the Ford factory stabilizer bars on the chassis and actually upgrade them to a much stronger one. They do several things in the J-Ride package. Basically, the idea is if you get hit by just a wicked gusty headwind, you're not going to get shoved, you know, sideways. And if you, you know, going down like, you know how sometimes in a construction site where you're forced to sort of half drive on the shoulder where they have the little chatter things and your teeth are going up inside your head? Well, they do some things there to take a lot of that shock and jolt out, because unlike a towable RV, which is still an earthquake inside, this really isn't much different in that regard. In a motorized RV, you're in it to win it, and you are hearing every little rat-a-tat-tat going down the road. So it's kind of nice to, you know, have some dampening there. Now, as you can see, there are some paint package options on here, and I'd be kind of curious, which one would you go with and why? Now, paint packages on RVs are spendy. They are not a cheap thing, but when the RV gets older, it still looks young, which is something I think is really cool about them. If you ever see a used RV with a paint package on trade or for sale somewhere, it always looks so much newer than it actually is. Now, one of the other nice things, we have automatic leveling, hydraulic auto leveling, power up and down. There are a lot of big diesel pusher things that are still using spring recoil on their leveling systems. And one of the things that always kind of baffles me about that is if the RV settles into soft ground overnight and then it dries out, Those spring recoils sometimes are not the user friendliest thing. Now, one of the major differences between a Class C and a Class A motorhome is there's, typically you have a drivetrain and a chassis running through here, so you don't typically have full pass-through compartments. But I always want to try to show you whatever I can. That box with the lights on it you saw in there, that was your solar charge controller, our onboard propane system right here. Now, door number 3 under the awning, just behind the door, that actually has not only general storage, but also some outside entertainment hookups if you are so inclined. Now, sliding back here, this would basically be under the dresser drawers in the bedroom area, kind of behind that. We're basically, just outside the bedroom right now. And what you can see here is, like, on the inside, there's a couple spots that sort of looked like some interesting kind of dead space. It wasn't dead air. They were using it on the outside so that instead of crawling on your hands and knees to get to it on the inside of the RV, it's all out here where it's readily accessible and available. And I think in that big door in the back, that's where I'd probably put like all my patio stuff, like a folding picnic table, all those kind of good things. 7,500 pound tow rating on these. That is something that you really got to watch in the Class C market. If you're looking at a manufacturer's website and they say 7,500 pound tow rating, well, that's what it is. But if they only say 7,500 pound rated hitch, it may not actually have a 7,500 pound tow rating, or it may require an external weight distribution system. Basically, the way that they attach this to the chassis is just stronger, heavier duty, and the idea is that it's something that's going to, be able to handle more weight back here. And of course, we have a backup camera and all that stuff. At this point, what motorhome doesn't really? Yeah, I guess it's worth mentioning, but it doesn't really trip my trigger too awful much. But climbing up that ladder there, you can see, from the top down, taking a look at the fact that this has the slide awning standard on here, and again you got that candy coated fiberglass roof shell. And as long as we're up there, I figured might as well take a look again at that 200 watt solar panel. Then all the way at the front of the RV, just above the that forward cab area, it does actually have a satellite prep set up there. So if you did want to add a satellite system to this, the wiring's basically preset to make the rest of the install much easier for you. Now, working our way around here, we are a little bit close on this side, but kind of like I wanted to do before, I want to show you all the baggage doors, but I also want to showcase for you the fact we've got a crazy high gloss skin on one of these. It has a near mirror-like finish, which, I don't know, there's something about shiny that just makes me feel good myself. And whereas the storage on the other side, the big door, was basically under or behind the closet, this is actually under the headboard area of the bed. And I've noticed as I'm going through this, they've done some improvements on their latch hardware. In previous seasons, those swing open doors, I don't know if it's because it's such a big air gap in there, the air sometimes would kind of push back, and the door had kind of trouble sealing until you really got, we'll just say, friendly with it. The same kind of friendly that my mom would be with me, like if I talked back to her and I really had it coming, that sort of friendly. I don't have to be backhand mom friendly with this right now, which is kind of nice. And of course, we got our Awning 4000 generator on here. These are always going to be 30 amp coaches, by the way. So the 4000 generator is all you need to run the whole darn thing, which is awful kind of cool. And I'm kind of operating from memory here, but if I'm not mistaken, since the last time I recorded one of these, they have also standardized holding tank heaters, which, if you're going to be going through a colder area, or if it's going to drop down pretty darn chilly tonight, it's really nice having that extra peace of mind and protection. So once again, at your request, I continue to try to get my hands on any motorhome I can. I just don't have an opportunity in my normal daily Michigan haunts, #Michigan, to, get my hands on some of these. But if you like it and you want to put a ring on it, but you kind of want to know what it costs first, crazy how reasonable that is. Check the links in the video description. One of those I'll leave you is for pricing and availability. And short of that, when you're ready, we're ready. We don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.